Hey everybody, welcome back to a surprise episode. Um, I just wanted to have a quick little talk. Well, I don't know how quick it'll be, but it all spurred exactly as funny as it is um, from talking to a friend of mine, and she had mentioned that all the colognes I have, you know, she half-heartedly joking, but serious tone, you know what I mean, that I'm addicted. I'm addicted to them. I was kind of, I won't say taken aback or offended or anything, because, I generally don't get offended. But it was kind of like, well, no, not addicted. And we joked around for a bit about, this and that. And so when I get home tonight from work, I said, I'm going to look up the definition of addicted, because I've been called a hoarder before. And that's just completely wrong. That hoarding is a legitimate uh, mental illness. It's when I've known a hoarder, and I've seen a lot of hoarders on TV, and I've known a hoarder. Um, that's horrible, man. You can't throw out garbage. We all get a little bit of a hoarder mentality in us. I think like everybody's got a bag or a drawer full of plugs and wires that they don't want to throw out because you're never going to use. You don't know when you're going to use them again. They might be good for something, or stripped screws and bent nails because they could still be good. You jar them in the garage or something. So we all got, I think, a bit of a hoarding mentality. Just slightly though. It's when it goes off the rails where you literally can't throw out. Like the person I knew couldn't throw out dirty diapers, and garbage, and cat litter, and oh, uh, they eventually got help for it. Took a while, and they're constantly fighting it to this day. So hoarding, no. Addicted, maybe. I mean, like I said, I looked up the word addiction, and you know, half a dozen different dictionaries and stuff, and there was a lot in there that I guess you could classify as addicting. That she was right. I was an addict. Um, you know, the main one is constantly wanting more, and you can be addicted to a lot of things. Most people, when you hear addiction, you think drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, um, but you can be addicted to other things, food, um, physical things like food and cars. And you can be addicted to anything, really. Emotional things. You can be addicted to you can be addicted to hugs. I had no idea, but it's an actual addiction. Just the warm feeling you get from a hug. Um, you can be addicted to all kinds of things. You can be addicted to sex. Kind of have to have sex to be addicted to it. So I'm pretty sure I'm safe there. If there's one addiction I'd want, though, that would probably be it. Give me all the booty. um, yeah, just joking, guys. Um, but so, and always, the thing was, is the main thing that caught my eyes. The addict is always looking for that next thrill, the next high, whether it be a physical high or emotional high or whatever, that next high. And that's completely, I'm going to sit here and say that's not true. I'm always looking. I get a fragrance, it's always a high for me. And almost sometimes immediately or a day or two later, I'm thinking I want to get another one. I want to try, see if I can find another one. That is a textbook definition of addicted. But where I'm going to say I'm not an addict. And most addicts would say, you're not an addict. I'm not an addict. I can quit anytime. I know I can't quit anytime. I don't want to quit anytime. Um, but what they all had in common, all the definitions, was that and the foregoing of other um, things. This is not going to be verbatim or anything. It's just going to be, you know, um, paraphrasing, I guess, the definition, because I didn't remember them all, but this is basically what it says. They forgo everything for that next high. They forgo physical needs and wants, mental, emotional needs and wants for that next high, that next pick me up. You know, they'll forgo food and time with friends and loved ones and bathing and shaving and just personal grooming, and they'll forego buying other things like nice clothing. I've never done that. Never happened. I mean, I've collected, I think I said it before, action figures, records, video games, watches, to a lesser extent, coins. I've never, in my whole life, purposely, I mean, I've gone without stuff a lot. I've talked about being poor, but that was just I was poor. But I've never, ever, ever in my whole life, well, obviously, I've never forgone food, but I've never forgone anything. If I needed to buy food, buying a cologne never mentioned my mind. Need to pay my bills, buying a cologne never mentioned my mind. If I needed to, I don't know, or wanted to go hang out with my friends, have a few drinks, party, spend a little money at the bar, buying a cologne never crossed my mind. If I wanted to go visit my mother, but I needed gas, well, never became like, well, I could get gas and go visit my mom, or I could go buy this cologne. Never, never. And I was with anything I ever collected. That's where I think the very thin, and I mean fucking paper thin, hair thin line between a passionate collector and somebody who's addicted to collect, to whatever it is. You know, I've never. So am I going to sit here and say I'm not an addict? You know what? Like I said, it's a very thin line. I don't think I am, but then an addict's going to tell you they're not, right? But I've never gone, and I never will forego any mental, emotional, actual physical needs to buy a bottle of cologne. I just, yeah, I couldn't imagine needing food or to pay my heat and lights or my phone bill and just not doing it so I could get a fucking bottle of cologne or an action figure or something, you know, whatever you're collecting. So while what I'm getting at is I'd say I'm more of a passionate collector. I have addictive qualities in that, especially the wanting the next big thing, the next high. I will admit to that. Although that's gotten a lot better. Mostly because colognes have just become samey. There's not really anything different. If it doesn't smell like Invictus, it smells like any number of other Tonka based, vanilla based scents out there. Oud. So it's kind of like, what's the point? And I've reached that point. I think I've talked about it before, where it's really just what's the point? So I generally don't buy anything anymore. I shouldn't say that. I buy a lot, obviously, but compared to what I used to buy, I mean, I used to buy 3 or 4 every couple days. Not anymore. I'm lucky if I get 3 or 4 every couple months now. Sometimes I'll go months without it at all. So, and it doesn't bother me. That's another thing is with the addiction, it would bother you. It doesn't bother me. There's nothing out there I want. I'm not going to buy it. So yeah, it was just a little talk. Just wanted to think, what's your opinion? Am I addicted? How would you know? You don't even know me. Do you think I'm addicted? Are you addicted? Or do you think you're like me? You're a very passionate collector. Someone who loves whatever you're collecting too. I mean, it's probably going to be clones if you're watching this video, obviously. But if you collect other things or have collected other things, have you ever not paid a bill or bought food or went to visit or hang out with somebody just to buy that thing? I couldn't imagine. I mean, and it's not like I'm not addicted. I'm addicted to coffee and nicotine. I'll be the first to admit it. I generally don't drink, don't do drugs. Maybe eat a little too much food, but that's okay. A couple extra pounds. It really hurt no one. Yeah, I mean, are you addicted? Am I addicted? Let me know. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it because it's a genuinely interesting subject. Where do you draw that line, between being a passionate collector to being an addict? Or if it's like a drug, where do you draw that line from being a casual drug or alcohol user to an addict? Still say the sex one. We have no worries there. Damn it. All right, guys. Peace, love, be good to each other.